Good evening. Thank you, Kip. You know, last summer when I stood before you all, I had to defend my Fairfax address a little bit. But I have to tell you, tonight I'm just a little glad that I can't vote in this election. I'm flashing back to last summer when I stood on the stage with so many great candidates. And again tonight I'm impressed by the tough choice you folks are going to have on school board and county board this year. It's that old proverbial problem. It's a nice problem to have. A lot of good candidates out there. But I'm here tonight to introduce Peter Fallon, a gentleman whom I'm guessing all or most of you have known a lot longer than I have. I instantly recognized Peter Fallon's deep commitment and deep contribution to Arlington County when I first met him last summer. He has a resume that I'll let him regale you with of a long time commitment and involvement in Arlington's community. The Planning Commission, the Transportation Commission. Peter lives and breathes Arlington. When I first met him last year, when I was running for the House of Delegates, Peter was among the first Arlingtonians to endorse me, which also shows him to be a great visionary, I might add. But I instantly recognized and was proud to be endorsed by someone with the long track record of community involvement that Peter had. And for those same reasons, I'm pleased to be here to introduce him tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Fallon.
Thank you, Rick. Good evening, Arlington County Democrats. First and foremost, I want to thank Walter Tejada and Mary Hines for their many years of service to our community. Also, I want to thank my family for their support of my past community work and for the busy days yet to come. Now, I am a different candidate than I was a year ago. I have reached out to more than 10,000 voters to get their take on our county and their issues. This is just a start. I am fully committed to engaging more residents in county decision-making and building community-wide consensus. I'm also different because, and this might be a little surprisingly straightforward, you might not hear from some other candidates in the race, but I support Arlington County. I am pro-Arlington. Now, historically, our county's government over the decades has created a shining example of what values happens when our democratic values are allowed to thrive. Values including empathy for the suffering, unabashed forward thinking, stewardship for our children and the environment. These are democratic values, these are Arlington values, these are my values. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Citizens rightfully expect fiscal accountability and good value for their tax dollars. They expect that we find new ways of doing business, that we invest wisely in our public facilities, and that we adopt greater transparency. I strongly support Delegate Patrick Hope's efforts to create an independent audit function as a way to do this, and look forward to working with him or her, as a former auditor myself, to get us back on track. We need to counter naysayers by providing independent evidence that our programs are efficiently run and that they are effective at bettering the lives of our citizens. We do great things. I'm proud of having played some part in that success. Arlington is an incredible place, and what's needed now are improvements, not all-out assaults. I know that some of you are upset and want to take an axe to the county, but it's really time to use a scalpel. I know exactly what to fix around here and how to fix it, because I've been working deeply on these policies and details for over 20 years. During my time on the Planning, Transportation, and the Housing Commission, I worked directly with residents and stakeholders all across our 26 square miles to solve problems big and small. I can tell you about the time we helped get more units of committed affordable housing, or pressed developers for more generous community benefits, or did something to save some historic preservation resource, or even times where I decided I'm not going to support this because this proposal is not in the best interest of Arlington County and its citizens. Ask the people that I've worked with what they will say. They will say that I listened, that I was fair, but most importantly, I got things done. Now, I also understand that in the course of that work, I gained a reputation for coming across as a little prickly. But let me say this. If I come off as prickly or mad, it's because I see someone not getting a fair hearing or being brushed aside. I demand fairness and that everyone, even the little guy, deserves a voice. I have advocated for these folks even when it wasn't the most popular or politically expedient thing to do. I did it because it was the right thing, and I do it because standing up for those without a voice is the most central of democratic values. And now, the way things are going right now, maybe we could use a little pricklier county board members. I say this because I firmly believe as a party and as a county, we've been shaken by a few tumultuous years, and we're not quite out of the woods yet. We still have to do more to keep our economy competitive, address school overcrowding, and make our tax dollars stretch further. But just as importantly, shifts in the landscape have put some of our bedrock democratic principles into question. We need someone who is tough enough to defend these values and experienced enough to make sure the right things get done. Things we hold dear are on the chopping block now, and we need someone who will fight on those on a fixed income, fight for our schools, and fight for housing that is affordable, not just give you hollow words or sound bites. When considering who you want to represent you on the county board, I ask that you consider that I am the only one here tonight of the candidates who can say he has fought and been fighting for all of these things here in Arlington for 20 years or longer. It has been a rough few years for us. Our party and county have become divided. Many of those in the room have become deeply upset by some of these disappointing lapses in our county these past few years. And as the party have emphasized, these feelings linger. However, for a community with such a bright future, we have to learn from the past, respect our differences, and move forward together. I want a new start for Arlington's government, the one that has given us and our children such amazing opportunities. I want a relationship of truth and respect, guided by our shared principles. I am a Democrat, I still believe in government, and I want Arlington to again reach its own high standards. Now, if you believe in government, if you still believe that Arlington is great, if you just think that it deserves someone with the experience and fortitude to fight for the good things, you have a candidate in Peter Fallon. I ask for your support of my campaign, and I ask for your vote on June 9th. Thank you so much.